Hello and welcome, as it is the 11th day of November 2020. My name is Derek. This is the Money Charts channel. All bets, trades, and the like within each his own risk and their own reward. In this video, we'll take a look at Bitcoin multiple term timeframes. But I also want to talk about all the stuff that's been going on that I've been talking about since yesterday regarding this and the election. Because there was two different factors here, and I'm looking at the mathematics. One, how in the world is it possible that like 40 seconds later, you go from 1,690 units down to 1,670, and then at 1252 up to 1272? And then point B, the totals were like 3.3 million each or so, approximately, give like just pretty close to tied. So at 3.3 million, how do we go from 1,690 on one side? The other, one team wins 1,690, then to 1252, then pretty much a flip-flop after that. No. So basically, I did some computer programming yesterday, and after doing it, I'm like, oh my goodness, this would be an easier way of doing it. So I'm just going to quickly show the program. I'm going to run it. It only takes a minute or so to run, but it runs a lot of data. Basically, what it does is it does a loop of 1,000. It takes 100,000 votes, 50,000 for each on each side, and starts the calculation at 0, and then it does 50,000 of them. Takes a random number, and then it figures out if it's on A or B, and then this code here makes it so that no matter what, it's gonna, the votes will be set up this way to just take random half of the votes and then count out of 1,000 times, doing it over and over again, what the highest that either of the two sides won by. And it's not going to be it's not going to be that large of a number. And so it can take a minute to run or so. So I think it'll pop up in about a minute or so, black screen with the results. And it's doing 5,000, so it's going to be like 2,500 or 25,000, I think, in like 250 or so, which means like 1% more, or hardly much more at all. Which, again, this is just me doing my mathematics. As far as the charts are concerned, I'll get interrupted here soon, but monthly chart getting up to the 18 average of highs, and really the months of July, August, September, as it just held and stayed in this area, was quite phenomenal. And then now we had the breakout month of October, which microscopically has gotten past this level of resistance and further continuation here so far in that of November. So this looks like signs of excitation in 25,265, which meant the other one would be 24,635 as the lowest in 1,000 situations. Sorry about that little flip up there, but yeah, I would really, from the mainstream media, kind of like an explanation to how did the numbers flip flop? What kind of error was in there? Where can we see it? And the fact that we had those errors is concerning in itself. Was there 20,000 miscounted votes on the wrong way to begin with that their computers came and fixed? Problematic there. And then, there's first half of the votes were counted from what source, and the second half is counted from the other. So there has to be some sort of psychologically large reason where one side was so much different than the other. Explain. I don't think they will, but. And I mentioned yesterday about, oh my goodness, things could get pretty intense here soon. They will or they won't. This could be another AKA 911. Where the information's obvious to pretty much what happened or didn't happen, yet they, as an MSM reporting, aren't going to say anything at all. Architects for engineers for 911 truth, just ignore them. And that's pretty much what we'll see comes on. Anyway, that is the conclusion on that particular subject for this particular video. So therefore, we have on the weekly chart just a beautiful run so far, as it's period number, 3 good runs up. And so far this week, it's just hanging in there. Really more of a chop week, but it's also it's Wednesday, so we're halfway through. So it's just a hold week more than anything. But we can see that within the daily chart. And the daily chart, to me, is very fascinating. as we have these higher lows in place. But if we look at it from candle by candle perspective, how does it hold this move? Well, here's from this move. We continue a little bit higher the next day, but really a pause day, which is okay. That's what it was. Great. Correctionary down day in here, establishing a low, and thus making it to a rally the next day, very close to previous high, but most certainly lower. And then a little bit higher, making it pretty much, okay, maybe that was a matching high, but there we have just holding in there. And then ultimately decent pause day yesterday. And then to continue this up higher, this tells me a lot of exciting things could be transpiring moving forward. And the 1 hour is going to be nicer, but 4 hour. After this gain in here, we had a slot going through the 18 average of lows, which when it resisted here, it only resisted for a couple periods. It didn't go down. It did resist the 18 average of highs for a few periods, but it did so only for a few. It had this failed breakout, but when you're seeing these bull markets, any bull market, when I say these bull markets, I mean any type of chart that's in a beautiful upsetting that's going to continue on bull markets. What usually always happens within corrections is what we're seeing here. You have this big red down move like this, and look at how well, I mean, in any form, how well does it recover those losses in rapid moves, getting back, doing well with retracement, and it didn't even get down really below anything below the 18 average of lows. So down in here, quick green candle up to the highs, and then there's your higher low here, down to there. It's gotten above this level of resistance in this 18 average of highs within the last couple of periods. We got 42 minutes and 10 seconds left. So in itself, this is just a fantastic situation when you're like, okay, hold and stay above a little area. That's what you need to see after this move, and that's what it's done. But the 1 hour can really show how magnificent to me that this looks, because it's how it reacts to that certain situation. There's that resistance in here. So it gets out above it in here, establishes this high, and how sellers are not aggressively by any means coming in. You have a little bit of selling in here because of the short-term plays, and that's always the case. Well, pretty much always. But to me, this looks like we're going to have a test here at least to this to today anyway, I think, for this high of about 15,800 in this area here, up to about 15,900. So the high 15,000s. And in doing so, that means I'd be looking at two possible things on a bullish level. One, if it's going to come back for this area to be support. Two, on a breakout, can have a concise, clear move above it and breaking above it. And if it does so on the hourly, well, we've already been doing multiple time frames, everything's in a bull market, it just means continuation of all of these longer term trends towards the upside. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.